It was so actually pretty interesting. It's called How the Internet Destroyed Generation Alpha. I don't like to be a really big doomer person, but it's like, you have to admit, like, there's some problems with Gen Alpha. There's a bunch. And it's a really big bummer to see. Why is my camera fading? Maybe it's because of my hair, because my hair has lost a lot of its color and I've not gotten it re-dyed in a long time. You know, but last time, by the way, a lot has actually happened between the two dev streams I did. And, yeah. I'm just deving this game, you know what I mean? Are you spawning? Yes, you are, you sneaky little pillar. So okay. So, I'm gonna show you what I did. So I did that, I built, the map is all done. I'm just building the mechanics. And if you think your, Fortnite match was terrible, I had to go through this timer. I would literally jump off a building if this thing got deleted. Or get really pissed. I went through every spawner, and I had to do all of that. I had to wire this. There's like 500 of those spawners, by the way. This actually turns all the spawners on. And then after I did that, I went to all 500 spawners and manually turned them to off at game start. And now I'm actually doing something smart. I'm taking a helicopter and I'm flying near as many of them as I can, looking for ones that I missed. After I do that, I'll put a marker on them and go fix them and I definitely think I've done 95%, but there's probably at least 20 spawners right now. 20, 50 ones I've not done. So although a controversial vehicle, very helpful for creative builds. And not only that, this actually has 6,000 memory, which actually is pretty nice, because if I want to add something extra, this kind of like acts as like a save with that one. Okay, now we know which one. We have two. You know, I can only really remember like two. Oh, watch this video now.
What are all those touchscreens doing all those scrolls?
Okay, to be honest with you, I was kind of an iPad kid, but in my opinion, I was not nearly as terrible as these people. And to a lot of people, I'd be like, oh, well, you're just a selfish person. Like, okay, my mom actually took my iPad away multiple times. Oh, I almost deleted that. My mom actually took my iPad away. Like, I was actually disciplined on how to use it right. You know, like, I wasn't constantly use it. I use my iPad a lot, right? But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I did use my iPad a lot, but I feel like at my generation, I wasn't fed a whole lot of brain rot that a lot of, you know, modern day people are fed. Like, there was no Skibbity toilet, there was no, like, you know, like, Rizgia bull crap. Like, there wasn't any of that when I was an iPad kid, quote unquote. And actually, even at grade 5, I was using my iPad to research things like, you know, what a normal grade schooler does, which is nuclear tech. Actually, because of my iPad, I've sourced a lot of my information. I've researched nuclear. I think that one's the one. Yep, that was the one I was looking for. It's 100 meters, dude. But it's probably why I'm really smart. I've actually used my iPad to help me get smarter. And I think I got my first iPad when I was, it was like, I don't know if I was like 8. When I was like 8 to 10, I think I got my first. I wasn't given an iPad at 2. And I'm so glad I wasn't given an iPad at the age of 2. Also, I played a lot of games. Like, I didn't even play those Brinock games. I actually played a lot of, like, Minecraft, OG Pixel Guns, OG Block City Wars. Although, Block City Wars at later dates. Can I please get back in? I also played a lot of, like, Terraria. Not like the games where it's like, oh, you have to run down it and you have to like go down multipliers or dividers and like of like different points. You get what I mean? It's like, I'm so glad I was raised with actual good content.
11-year-old Olivia finds that beauty products
Got you.
Generation Alpha.
I did not take any damage. I have fall damage.
Current generation of our society. But with the way they're growing up, will they actually be the future generation to make an impact, or is Gen Alpha as doomed as people say it is? Who are Generation Alpha? Gen Alpha, or people born between 2010 and 2025, is set to become the most populated generation in history, with over 2.8 million kids born every week. They follow Gen Z and are the children of the millennial generation. Although Gen Alpha is populating a large amount of society, why do other generations think there's no hope for this generation? With countless cases of kids acting out in public, lashing out, and behaving erratically, many believe that Gen Alpha...
I'm sorry, but I cannot take it. One of my biggest annoyances is when kids just cry. It makes me look like a patient person. Like, I complain a lot, dude, but I cannot. Kids crying is borderline. I can't. Like, every time I hear a little kid crying, I'm like, I'm sorry if I come off as a dick, but everybody else sees the same way. I'm not like, oh, I hate it, or like that. No, it's just more of a no. I'm just getting annoyed.
It's already ruined. You see babies and toddlers often throwing temper tantrums the second their smart devices are taken away.
By the way, these kids, I swear, these Gen Alpha kids have no semblance of respect. Unlike my cousin who plays with me, like, he's pretty cool. And you know what? I'm gonna make this a big discrepancy. I know, like, am I saying all Gen Alpha kids are like that? No, I mean, I literally play with a Gen Alpha kid myself. From a Gen Z to a Gen A myself. Like, I hang out with him. He's not terrible, you know? There's good Gen Alpha kids. Okay, I don't even think I did those. But, again, you can't deny it. There's a majority of people that are just, no, not the brightest tools in the shed. They could put it a little bit more kind of thing.
All the generations before them. The short answer, the internet. The rise of iPad kids. When you think of a kid in today's day and age, how do you picture them? Most of you probably had an image of a kid with an iPad in their hands, right?
I'm so glad I grew up with toys.
The youngest generation, but also
I like Playmobil and Lego. I actually still like Lego. It's behind me right now. There's a giant turbine.
TV, a computer, or the infamous iPad. With almost 80% of kids owning
Kids don't need to be online. Internet is not a good place for little kids.
iPad kids.
Maybe YouTube Kids is probably the only good place. Maybe like educational sites, but then internet, raw.
Since their creation, iPads have been used as a tool for parents who are simply too busy with work. Technology has proven to be a hassle-free way of keeping kids occupied, whether at public places, social events, or just during the day-to-day. With iPads being an evolved version of parenting in the 20th century, screens are simply considered the new nanny. And although parents may benefit from relaxing after work, iPads could be doing more harm than good.
There's good to iPads, but you gotta know how to use them, right? Like, for example, I use mine for games, and I use a lot for watching videos, or even actually looking up topics. Like, I actually sometimes will just go and scroll on the Wikipedia and, like, look up new topics to learn, right? And, I mean, they're useful. I mean, this is how I became a pretty decent numismatist, also known as a money collector. I went from literally zero knowledge to collecting to, like, pretty good, like, for my amount of experience. Like, right, and June 30th, I just, like, roughly just a few weeks ago, or less than a week ago, probably, I just passed my 1.5 year mark of being a coin/cash collector. And I'm not gonna go out and say, oh, I'm literally like the smartest money collector out there. There's a lot of things I don't know. But there is a lot of things I do know that the average person doesn't, right? And that's because of my iPad. Now again, I'm not a parent. I'm not a father, although I do kind of wish to be one day. But I would, I'm just going to say this right now. I think iPads really should be used in moderation. There's a lot of good that technology can do, but we also have to admit that there's a lot of bad. There's a lot of bad actors. There's predators on the internet. There's, fake information. There's even the dangerous trends. Like we literally saw the Devious Slick trend where everybody would literally go and destroy shit at their school, or the Benadryl challenge where you literally drink so much Benadryl that you would OD. Like, there's genuine issues. And there's a lot of reasons why kids should not be on the internet. Which is why parents, they need to do their job when it comes to moderation. Like, they just let their kids just endlessly go onto the iPad and do nothing. I'm gonna get here.
Seemed to stop. In 2012, a 3-year-old boy was kicked off an Alaskan Airlines flight from Seattle because of the extreme temper tantrum he grew after getting his iPad taken away. The kid had been playing with a tablet.
Back then, I got mad when I got my iPad taken away. If I had it, if I couldn't get it, it's more of a nuisance. Like, for example, a lot of people might think I'm an iPhone person. Like, I only use, other than YouTube, I really only use Instagram. And that's only to post pictures and my coin collecting live streams, which, go follow me there if you want. It's a trash Instagram, but who cares? But Instagram, I only use it when I'm trying to fall asleep, and I don't use it for more than 30 minutes. Per day. I would say I definitely don't use Instagram more than 2-3 hours a week, because I know how bad on my my attention span it can be, and because I know that's that bad, I do my best to limit, because I know. But I would say, how many hours I use my phone? I probably use it no more than 3 hours, or probably at tops 5 hours. Actually, 5 hours a week would be almost extreme for me. In a lot of cases, I would actually forget my phone, because I actually prioritize iPads a lot more. More storage, more touchscreen size, but at the cost of camera quality and mobility. Let's be honest, the camera quality on an iPad, even a Gen 4, is kind of dog water.
But when planes ascend, all devices were asked to be turned off, and this one iPad was no exception. When flight attendants tried to get the kid to turn his tablet off, he started to wreak havoc. The child began a raging outburst, hitting his head against the roof of the plane and desperately begging for his tablet back. His family tried to calm him down and buckle him in so that they could take off, but no one was able to control him. Things had got so bad that the pilot had to turn the entire plane around on the runway. His entire family was escorted off the flight.
Yeah. I would be so pissed.
And this was over 10 years ago, at the start of the iPad Kids generation.
Yeah,
Since then, Gen Alpha has grown more attached to their devices. Social media has become a part of their day-to-day routines.
Right now,
or worse, and it's caused.
Right now, it wouldn't be a destructive thing for me to put down the controller. It's just more of a nuisance. For example, I know even though I'm gonna admit I'm kind of I cannot talk. I'm gonna admit I do play video games maybe a little bit more than I should have, but I'm a little bit aware of why it's bad to just sit and do nothing, right? But in my defense, maybe it's not the best. At least I have a job, right? And another hobby I like to take interest into, which I keep spouting over and over, is numismatics. Which, literally, I have a shirt about numismatics right now. Look, see? A crazy person who pays money for more money. Which is the person that spends $100 on a $2 bill. I've never spent that much money on numismatics, though. But I've actually recognized numismatics, in my opinion, as not only as fun, but a good way to get off screens. My only complaint with this is that it's hard to source money and not annoy bank tellers. Because honestly, for a box of pennies, just 25 bucks, I'll spend roughly 2-3 hours picking it out. And right now I have like 11 boxes or 12. Oh yeah, I have about 12. No, I have 10 boxes. I'm done. I'm gonna go order some champagne. Hold on.
Kids to become addicted to the internet. The stay-at-home crisis that happened in 2020 only made things worse. Kids were locked indoors and were unable to get any sort of social interaction from other peers or teachers. Gen Alpha was treating technology like a full-time job, devoting 40 hours a week to using it. With social media being accessible to anyone, internet usage was at an all-time high. They couldn't go out to play because of restrictions, so the only way they could get any form of contact with the outside world was through their devices. Gen Alpha was going through critical development phases during the stay-at-home crisis. The online world became a reality because it was all they knew, considering the sort of horrible stuff that we have access to online. This is concerning. Technology usage on its own isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's the content that's being consumed that's the real perpetrator. Parents may think they know what their kids are watching online, but sometimes things aren't what they seem, even in videos
Elsagate
made for kids. Internet brain rot. You might have heard of the term brain rot. Popularized by social media, brain rot is the term that internet users have created to describe those lacking proper socialization and are obsessed with digital content to an unhealthy level.
Bro, Gen Alpha content's some of the most incoherent brain dead I've ever seen in my life. Like, I can physically feel the brain cells frying every second I spend watching.
Level 100 Gaia. Ice Spice Rizz Riz Gaia. Use Gaia to be rizzing me in Ohio at 3 a.m.
When you think about brain rot, Gen Alpha
I
tends
cannot
to
with
be
brain
the
rot.
usual demographic that comes to mind.
Dude,
that's because
if you guys don't know, I am diagnosed with mild autism and ADHD, and there's a point where I can like turn off, like, you know, input, like I can kind of like turn off like stimulants, right? Like for example, like if there's like a loud city, I don't just go like all the time. Like I know how to kind of like focus my way through them, but I can't imagine how overly stimulating this new brain rot has to be. Like I genuinely kind of fear for people that are on the spectrum like me, that are really young, that are just not able to get a break from this. I mean, like, I don't even know how to explain. Like, these kids, they don't get a break. It's just brain rot on brain rot on brain over and over and over, and it's not stopping.
Internet has been their primary means of interaction with the world since they were born. Brain rot content can also be identified by the constant usage of internet slang, overly bright colors, and attention-grabbing content that switches every few seconds. A key example is popular kids media like Skibbity Toilet that seem to
I first didn't mind Skibbity Toilet because it wasn't that harmful, but now I'm starting to realize I was wrong.
With hyper-stimulating content. Skibbity Toilet is a web series on YouTube that features a variety of models from games like Gary's Mod and Counter-Strike as they battle in a raging war. The two sides are singing human-headed toilets, which are called Skibbity Toilets, and humanoids who have human bodies but items as their heads, like cameras or TVs. The series was created by a man named Alexei Gerasimov. The first premiered on YouTube in February of 2023. Since the first episode was released, the channel gained over 40.6 million subscribers and has over 15 billion views today. Each episode features the Skibbity Toilets and other characters engaged in full-on conflicts, animated in the most obscure and dramatic ways. There's never a dull moment in the videos, which to Gen Alpha is the exciting part. On the surface level, this might just seem like out-of-the-box platform content for kids. The harsh reality of it is that Skibidi Toilet could be damaging to children. With constant overstimulating content, kids get used to hyperactivity, making everything else feel mundane. This can cause irritability, a low attention span, and a lack of patience, as kids are now so used to hyperstimulation. Parents have long since been concerned with whether or not Skibidi Toilet is appropriate for their kids to watch. And even it got to a point where Russian authorities had to get involved to investigate the show. A Moscow man concerned over Skibidi Toilet's detrimental effects on children asked the police to block the videos from the internet to prevent kids from watching it. This investigation has gotten mixed opinions so far, with some claiming that getting the police involved over a kids series is ridiculous. Other parents also echoed the same concerns, believing that Skibidi Toilet may be doing more harm than good. While there's still no conclusive answer as to whether or not the series is negatively affecting children, this form of hyper-stimulating media has become a growing trend for Gen Alpha. Parents are becoming increasingly worried that their kids are becoming like zombies because of this kind of content. Another popular kids show is CoComelon, which is usually targeted toward babies and younger children. CoComelon has become one of the most famous kids shows and has been a go-to entertainment source.
Can't CoComelon.
Your kids. But in recent months, the once favorable reputation of CoComelon has completely shifted, because now parents are starting to discover a correlation between their kids' behavioral issues and the show. On December 26, 2021, TikTok user It's Mama Bell posted a video that raised some serious concerns about CoComelon. The text on the video said that she had just switched from showing her kids CoComelon to a YouTuber called Miss Rachel, and that prior to switching, her children would just sit in front of the TV like zombies. In the comments, countless moms agreed with her, saying that Miss Rachel, who is a YouTuber who focuses on educational content, was much more beneficial for their kids. More and more parents realized that their kids were becoming addicted to CoComelon to the point where they wouldn't be able to move away from the screen. And they weren't learning anything from the show either. The show focused solely on keeping the children's attention with bright colors, repetitive songs, and fast jump cuts, all of which are tactics that the show uses to keep kids hooked.
Let's see how many seconds it takes for each one of these.
It's actually a psychological study that they use. Yeah, they use like very quick frames to actually hook their audience.
2, 3, 1, 2.
Too many frame jumps.
2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1.
This epidemic of overstimulation.
Yeah. I like diving this game. Diving it is so fun. But it's obnoxious but fun. Slowly pick out all those knots. Don't want. Does it still the timer? Oh, that's good right there. That is so good. We have a timer for how long it's gonna take for the mobs to spawn. That is perfect. That way the players can say, hey, I have X minutes left. I need to do Y. I smell. I'm gonna stop shooting, guys.